Yeah, Kevin, just wondering, did you see that there was a sideline confrontation that happened between Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Jeudy? And I know that that's part of football, that those kind of things do happen. But I'm just wondering, what you not only thought of that, but what do you think is kind of going on with Jerry Jeudy in this season where it's just not going for him the way that he would have expected, or that I guess you guys would have expected?
I think Shedeur's messaging is right here, and I think this would be the messaging hopefully Shedeur can share with Jerry. Not only is this going to take time, but you've got to let me lead you.
Well, this is part of the reason, we talk about not getting first team reps. Like, this is part of that, is that, like, that discussion exists because right now Shedeur would rather go to Gage Larvidan than he would Jerry Jeudy. Why? Because he has a connection with Gage Larvidan. He's already built that up. And the limited time he's had with Jerry Jeudy, we haven't seen it work out in a really successful way. And so I like how Shedeur's like, oh, yeah, we're going to have to take time with it. But the reality for Jerry Jeudy is that his season's slipping away.
Yeah.
What he thinks about and what people think about him as a wide receiver is slipping away. And so I think he's very worried about it. So the timelines are they're a little bit different right now.
Kevin Stefanski just gave a shocking response about the Shedeur Sanders-Jerry Jeudy sideline fight that has the entire NFL world talking. When asked about the viral confrontation where Jeudy was caught on camera clapping in Shedeur's face and yelling, "That's wrong, that's wrong," Stefanski dropped a response that's getting roasted online. When you're a family like we are, you can have your disagreements. But here's what has Browns fans furious. Stefanski called them a family while completely ignoring that Jerry Jeudy has been awful this season, that he leads the NFL in drops, and that he's never come at Dylan Gabriel or Joe Flacco like this before. The coach who refused to give Shedeur first-team reps for months is now acting like everything's fine after his $52 million receiver publicly disrespected his rookie quarterback. What Stefanski didn't say in that press conference reveals way more than what he did, and the evidence is piling up that this coaching staff has completely lost control of the locker room.
Stefanski spoke out to the media about the interaction that Jerry Jeudy was confronting Shedeur Sanders on the sideline. I'm going to play this video clip and let you guys hear what he had to say, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts as we continue this video.
Kevin, just wondering, did you see that there was a sideline confrontation that happened between Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Jeudy? And I know
Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders are not on the same page. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying. I'm not a lip reader. If you are, maybe you can help me out. But it looks like they are having a very spirited debate. And they're not seeing eye to eye. Shedeur didn't look all that great today. He looked okay. He had a touchdown. He had like 15 completions. I think it was like 150 yards. I can tell you right now, it looks like Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur are not on the same page. In this offense, it is very hard to properly judge Shedeur because all they do is run the fucking ball. I mean, Shedeur ran into a lot of unique looks from that defensive line. And I think they got to him like 3 times. And I mean, I don't want to be a dick, but the Browns O-line ain't that much better than the one he had at Colorado. You know, what people got to understand is the Browns suck. They always suck. I mean, they got the best defense in the NFL, and they still suck. But as it stands right now, this is the Browns offense.
Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you right now. What we just heard from Kevin Stefanski in that press conference wasn't just a coach downplaying a sideline incident. What we heard was a coach who's lost control of his locker room, trying to put out fires with PR speak while the whole house is burning down around him. And the fact that his response is going viral for all the wrong reasons tells you everything you need to know about where this Browns organization is right now. Let me set the scene for you because this is important. Mary Kay Cabot, one of the most respected Browns reporters in Cleveland, asked Stefanski directly about the sideline confrontation between Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Jeudy. This wasn't some gotcha question. This was a legitimate inquiry about something that millions of people watched happen on live television. CBS cameras caught the whole thing. Jerry Jeudy walking over to Shedeur while he's studying the tablet, leaning down, clapping his hands aggressively, and barking at the rookie quarterback. And Stefanski's response? Football is an emotional sport, and certainly when you're a family like we are, you can have your disagreements. Sometimes they're for everybody to see. Sometimes it's behind closed doors, but like a family, we move on, we talk about it, so not worried about it. Like a family. That's the phrase that's getting absolutely destroyed on social media right now. Because you know what real families do? They hold each other accountable. They don't let the veteran disrespect the rookie who's trying his best. They don't allow double standards where one quarterback gets attacked on the sideline while others get a free pass. They don't ignore the fact that the veteran receiver is leading the league in drops while having the audacity to blame the quarterback.
The way that he would have expected, or that I guess you guys would have expected.
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, Mary Kay, football is an emotional sport, and certainly you can, when you're a family like we are, you can have your disagreements. Sometimes they're for everybody to see. Sometimes it's behind closed doors, but like a family, we move on. We talk about it, so not worried about it.
But Kevin Stefanski said he's not worried about it. Not worried. The same coach who kept Shedeur Sanders buried on the depth chart for months behind Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel, who refused to give him first-team reps, who made him take scout team snaps while Bailey Zappi got actual practice time. That coach is now saying he's not worried that his $52.5 million receiver is publicly embarrassing his rookie quarterback on national television? You want to know what's really going on here? Let me break it down for you, because the evidence is all there if you just connect the dots. First, look at what Mary Kay asked in her question. She didn't just ask about the confrontation. She asked, what do you think is kind of going on with Jerry Jeudy in this season where it's just not going for him the way that he would have expected or that you guys would have expected? That's a loaded question. That's Mary Kay, who covers this team every single day, essentially saying, Kevin, your best receiver is having a terrible season and now he's attacking your quarterback on the sideline. What's the problem? And Stefanski's response? He completely dodged the second part of that question. He talked about disagreements being normal. He said they're a family. He said he's not worried. But he never addressed what's actually going on with Jerry Jeudy. He never acknowledged that Jeudy leads the NFL with 9 drops. He never mentioned that Jeudy is on pace for just 51 catches and 596 yards this season after catching 90 passes for 1,229 yards last year. He never explained why Jeudy thinks he has the right to disrespect a rookie quarterback when his performance has been the problem. That silence is deafening, and it tells you that Kevin Stefanski either doesn't see the problem, doesn't want to address the problem, or doesn't know how to address the problem. Either way, that's a coaching failure.
Going on with Jerry Jeudy in this season where it's just not going for him the way that he would have expected, or that I guess you guys would have expected.
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, Mary Kay, football is an emotional sport, and certainly you can, when you're a family like we are, you can have your disagreements. Sometimes they're for everybody to see. Sometimes it's behind closed doors, but like a family, we move on. We talk about it, so not worried about it.
Okay, thank you.
Now let's talk about what actually happened in that game, because the context matters. According to reports, the confrontation happened at the start of the fourth quarter after another failed Cleveland offensive series. The Browns had just gone 3 and out, gaining only 1 yard. Shedeur Sanders was on the bench, wrapped in his orange warm-up coat, studying plays on the tablet with offensive linemen, doing exactly what a professional quarterback should do when he's trying to figure out how to improve. And here comes Jerry Jeudy, walking over with attitude, leaning down over Shedeur, clapping his hands in his face, saying, that's wrong, multiple times, getting so aggressive that center Ethan Posich had to step in and separate them before things escalated even further. That's not emotional football, that's disrespect. That's a veteran who's playing terribly, deciding to blame the rookie instead of looking in the mirror. That's exactly the kind of toxic behavior that destroys team chemistry and ruins locker rooms. And Kevin Stefanski's response? Like a family, we move on. But here's the question nobody's asking Kevin Stefanski. Does this family have rules? Does this family have standards? Does this family hold people accountable when they're not doing their job? Because Jerry Jeudy caught 3 passes for 26 yards in that game. 3 catches. On a team desperate for playmakers, the best wide receiver managed to catch 3 passes. And one of the reasons he didn't catch more is because early in the first quarter, Shedeur threw him a deep ball that could have been a touchdown, but it was overthrown.
Again, Shedeur had some really good moments in that football game. There are things that he wants back that we're coaching up right now that he can improve upon. But bottom line is we have to continue to put our players in position to succeed. For the young quarterback, you only get better with more turns at this thing in these games, as you see more coverages, as you see more defenses, and as you prepare versus different defenses. So just looking forward to that constant improvement with Shedeur and for all of our young players.
Now, reports say that pass was either underthrown by Shedeur or Jeudy slowed down his route. We don't know for sure, but you know what we do know? Jeudy was shaking his head on the sideline after that play like it was all Shedeur's fault. No accountability. No, maybe I should have adjusted better. Just blame the rookie. And then later in the game, Jeudy decides to confront Shedeur on the sideline, in front of cameras, in front of teammates, in front of millions watching at home. That's not leadership. That's selfishness. That's a player who cares more about his stats than the team. But Kevin Stefanski says he's not worried about it. Now let me show you the twist in all of this, because this is where it gets really interesting. When Stefanski was asked about Shedeur's performance, he said, Shedeur had some really good moments in that football game. There are things that he wants back that we're coaching up right now that he can improve upon. But bottom line is, we have to continue to put our players in position to succeed. Put our players in position to succeed. That's what he said. And you know what? He's absolutely right. Except he's been failing at that all season long. He kept Shedeur on the bench for months when he should have been getting reps. He didn't give him first-team practice time. He didn't build chemistry between Shedeur and the receivers during the week. And now he's acting surprised that there are chemistry issues in games. Stefanski went on to say, for the young quarterback, you only get better with more turns at this thing in these games, as you see more coverages, as you see more defenses, and as you prepare versus different defenses.
Protect them at all. And it's a shame because I feel like this Cleveland Browns defense is doing some amazing things. I mean, they're always right there in games. I think the game was lost today when the special teams receiver, when he fumbled the football right there, I believe it was like the 15-yard line or something like that after a punt. I said, oh, it's over now.
Exactly. You only get better with more reps. And who's the one who didn't give Shedeur those reps? Kevin Stefanski. So now when Shedeur is making his second career start and trying to build chemistry with receivers he barely practiced with, and Jerry Jeudy is getting frustrated because they're not on the same page, whose fault is that really? It's coaching. It's preparation. It's Kevin Stefanski's failure to properly develop his rookie quarterback, and now he's reaping what he sowed. But here's where I'm going to defend Shedeur Sanders, because the kid showed incredible maturity in how he handled this whole situation. After the game, when reporters asked him about the chemistry issues with Jeudy, Shedeur said, as players and teammates, we have to be able to gel with each other and be comfortable with each other in every situation. That takes time. It takes a lot of things. We're going to have sparks, but it's going to take time to develop that chemistry with everybody, to be on the same page with Jerry. That's class. That's leadership. Shedeur could have thrown Jeudy under the bus. He could have said, yeah, he was wrong to come at me like that. He could have pointed out that Jeudy leads the league in drops. But he didn't. He took the high road. He talked about building chemistry. He acknowledged it takes time that Kevin Stefanski didn't give him by keeping him on the bench. Shedeur also said, obviously we lost, so I didn't play well. There's definitely things on film I'm going to look back and want to get back and want to see, but at least moving forward, I know what we could do differently going about the week and being able to get fully prepared for every possibility. That's accountability. A rookie quarterback taking responsibility for a loss, even though special teams muffed punts, even though Harold Fenton fumbled on fourth down, even though Jerry Jeudy only caught 3 passes, even though the offensive line couldn't protect him. That's the kind of quarterback you want leading your franchise. And Kevin Stefanski's response to all this? Like a family, we move on. I'm not worried about it.
Hi, Kevin, on the 4th and 1 from your 33, Teller was coming in. He hadn't been on it. And I know you wanted to get the playoff and kind of quick snap him, but were you close to calling a timeout at all?
Yeah,
had the injury to Jack, which had some moving parts with KT, and so had Wyatt out there late, which that's that's something that we need to be better about as an offensive unit, as coaches, as players.
That response is going viral online for a reason. Browns fans are destroying Stefanski in the comments. People are saying things like, "This family needs a divorce. Your best receiver is trash and attacking your QB. Maybe you should be worried about it, Kevin." The consensus is clear. Stefanski is failing as a leader, and his PR speak isn't fooling anybody. Now, let me tell you what Kevin Stefanski didn't say in that press conference, because sometimes what a coach doesn't address is more telling than what he does. He didn't defend Shedeur Sanders. He didn't say Jerry was out of line. He didn't acknowledge that Jeudy has been underperforming all season. He didn't explain why Jeudy thinks he has the right to attack a rookie quarterback. He didn't address the double standard, where Jeudy never came at Dylan Gabriel or Joe Flacco like this, even though they were making terrible throws too. That silence is telling you that Kevin Stefanski either can't control his locker room or won't control his locker room. Either way, that's a problem. A big problem. And you want to know the craziest part? In that same press conference, when Tony asked Stefanski about the 4th-and-1 play where the Browns had confusion because Wyatt Teller was coming in after Jack Conklin got injured, Stefanski admitted, had the injury to Jack, which had some moving parts with KT, and so had Wyatt out there late, which that's something that we need to be better about as an offensive unit, as coaches, as players. So Stefanski can admit when there are coaching failures. He can acknowledge when the staff needs to be better. But when it comes to Jerry Jeudy attacking Shedeur Sanders on the sideline, we're a family, not worried about it. The hypocrisy is stunning, and Browns fans see right through it. Now, I want to make something very clear here. The reason this Stefanski response is going viral isn't just because of what he said. It's because of the pattern it represents. Let me connect some dots for you.
Pretty much brushing it off, saying that it's football, not really making it a big deal. But I'm going to make it a big deal simply because Hall of Fame wide receiver Steve Smith Sr. had already warned the entire NFL fan base about Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is an average football player, but you didn't hear it from me. I'm going to play this video clip and let you guys hear Steve Smith Sr. break down exactly how he feel about Jerry Jeudy.
Kevin Stefanski kept Shedeur on the bench for months, even though Dylan Gabriel looked terrible in 5 starts. Then, when Shedeur finally gets his chance and wins his first game against the Raiders, Stefanski immediately starts talking about going week to week with the quarterback decision instead of committing to Shedeur for the rest of the season. Then Shedeur has a tough second game against the 49ers, but he had 0 turnovers, a 93.6 passer rating, and comparable numbers to Brock Purdy. The Browns lost because of special teams disasters and fumbles, not because of Shedeur's play. But instead of defending his quarterback and pointing out all the ways the coaching staff and other players failed, Stefanski talks about how there are things Shedeur wants back. And now when Jerry Jeudy, who's having an awful season, attacks Shedeur on the sideline, Stefanski's response is, "We're a family, not worried about it." You see the pattern? Stefanski refuses to fully commit to Shedeur. He refuses to defend him. He refuses to hold veterans accountable when they disrespect him. It's like he wants Shedeur to fail so he can go back to Dylan Gabriel or draft another quarterback. And Browns fans are fed up with it. The comments under Mary Kay Cabot's tweet of Stefanski's response are brutal. People are saying things like, "This is why we're 3-9. Stefanski has lost the locker room. Maybe if you actually coach Jerry Jeudy up, he wouldn't be leading the league in drops. Shedeur deserves better than this." They're right. Shedeur does deserve better. He deserves a coach who will defend him. He deserves a coach who will hold veterans accountable. He deserves a coach who will give him the tools to succeed instead of keeping him on the bench for months and then throwing him into games without proper preparation. But that's not the coach he has. And that's why this response from Kevin Stefanski is going viral for all the wrong reasons. Now, Stefanski did say one thing that gives me hope.
When Mary Kay asked him about Shedeur's progress, he said, "I'm pleased with his progress. He wants to continue to get better and better, and that's the right attitude to have, and that's why we'll continue to work." That's the bare minimum of what a coach should say about his quarterback, but at least he said it. At least he acknowledged that Shedeur has the right attitude. At least he confirmed that Shedeur will start Week 14 against the Titans. But here's the thing. Words are cheap in the NFL. Kevin Stefanski can say all day long that he's pleased with Shedeur's progress, but if he's not going to defend him when Jerry Jeudy attacks him, if he's not going to hold veterans accountable for their poor performance, if he's not going to commit to giving Shedeur the rest of the season to develop, then those words don't mean anything. Actions speak louder than words, and Kevin Stefanski's actions have shown that he doesn't fully believe in Shedeur Sanders. He kept him buried on the depth chart. He didn't give him first-team reps. He's going week to week instead of naming him the starter for the rest of the season. And now when Shedeur gets disrespected on the sideline, Stefanski says, "We're a family, not worried about it." Those are the actions of a coach who's either afraid to make a decision or doesn't know what decision to make. And in the NFL, indecision gets you fired. Let me end with this because I think it's important. When you look at everything that's happened, the Jerry Jeudy confrontation, the Kevin Stefanski response, the pattern of refusing to commit to Shedeur, you start to see the real story here. This isn't about one sideline incident. This isn't about emotional football or family disagreements. This is about a coaching staff that has failed to properly develop a rookie quarterback, a veteran receiver who's playing terribly but blaming everyone else, and a head coach who's lost control of his locker room and is trying to smooth over serious problems with empty platitudes. And the fact that Stefanski's "we're a family" response is going viral online tells you they see it. They see through the coach speak, they see the dysfunction, they see a talented rookie quarterback being set up to fail by a coaching staff that never fully believed in him. Shedeur Sanders completed 16 of 25 passes, threw 0 interceptions, protected the football, showed maturity beyond his years in his post-game comments, and took accountability for a loss that wasn't his fault. That's what a franchise quarterback looks like. But if Kevin Stefanski can't see that, if he can't defend that, if he can't commit to that, then maybe the problem isn't Shedeur Sanders or Jerry Jeudy. Maybe the problem is the coach who's not worried while his team falls apart around him. So let me ask you something. Do you think Kevin Stefanski handled this situation correctly? Should he have defended Shedeur and held Jerry Jeudy accountable? Is his "we're a family" response tone deaf given everything that's going on with this team? And does Shedeur Sanders deserve better coaching than what he's getting in Cleveland? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you think Stefanski's response was weak and he should have had Shedeur's back, smash that like button. If you believe Shedeur is showing more maturity than the veterans around him, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we're covering every moment of this Brown season. This story is far from over, and something tells me Kevin Stefanski's job security is about to become a major topic of conversation in Cleveland.